welcome back to the channel. I'm Pokemon Trainer Neats and you're watching TCG Weekly episode 7. So usual format this episode, I'll take you through a few statistics, show you an analysis of the deck I've been using this week, and then we'll jump straight into a battle so after I can showcase the deck and hopefully we can get a win. So this week on TCGO I've played 27 games, so I managed to get a few more in this week. Unfortunately I've only won 12 of those. I ended up losing quite a few games. I mean, obviously there's going to be some losses every week with decks that I complete daily challenges with, because I don't know, sometimes I use theme decks, sometimes I just use decks that are basically built to complete whatever daily challenge I'm doing, and 9 times out of 10 I'm going to lose with those decks. But yeah, so I was on the receiving end of a few more losses than I would have liked this week, but oh well. So yeah, won 12 and then lost 15. Now my main deck this week, obviously I said last week I was going to start to work on some competitive decks again, with Birmingham Regionals not being all that far away in reality. So my deck this week was called Enhanced Cyclone, and this is basically an Yveltal Hammers deck. Really enjoyed the deck. I built it last week on TCGO. Started off with about 90 cards in the list and just whittled down all the trainers. Settled on what I feel is quite a good list, which you'll see in a minute. There's maybe a couple of changes I might consider making, but on the whole, I really like the list and it's really doing quite well. So I played 14 games with the deck over the last week. I've won 8 and lost 6. A couple of my losses were actually to Quad Lapras decks. One of them even decked me out, so watch out for Quad Lapras. It really does cause some problems, shall I put it that way. Anyway, so gained 110 versus points for the week. I played 2 tournaments this past week and finished 3rd in both, so that gave me 12 tournament rep. So a bit of a slow week on tournaments, but hopefully I can squeeze a few more in next week. So yeah, moving into next week we'll be looking to increase the number of wins again. I think shouldn't be winning less than we're losing. Much work to be done. Anyway, with that in mind, let's jump right over to the deck manager and I'll show you my deck list.
Okay, so I'm now here on the deck manager, and this here is my Enhanced Cyclone deck, so let's dive right in and take a look. So let's just expand the deck. Okay, so this deck has 9 Pokemon, 40 trainers and 11 energy cards. So the main attacker in the deck is the well-known Yveltal EX, does Evil Ball and then has for 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon, and Y Cyclone for 90 to move an energy to one of the bench Pokemon. This is our main attacker. We have backup attackers in Baby Yveltal from Steam Siege, Mew just to hit Psychic Pokemon for weakness and for little tricks, and Tauros GX, which originally there was 2 in the deck and I took one out. I may yet put the second one back in, because sometimes I found myself wanting Tauros and it's prized, and then I've just been in a situation where I haven't been able to get it out, so yeah. And then 2 Shaymin, so that's 2 Shaymin EX, 1 Tauros GX, 1 Yveltal, 4 Yveltal EX, and 1 Mew from Fate's Collide. Very, very straightforward. The aim is just to get Yveltals out as quickly as possible, and then we can use Tauros if we absolutely need to. Energy count, 7 Dark Energy, 4 Double Colourless. We don't really need more than this, because we can recycle energy with Baby Yveltal, and Tauros will attack for a Double Colourless. All of these can use Double Colourless energy, so we don't need that much in the way of energy. So that will do us fine, that count. Apart from that game where I decked out against Quad Lapras, I've generally managed to keep enough energy behind. The trouble was that game I ran out of energy as well. Anyway, so let's look at the trainer cards. So we'll start with supporters. I run 1 Delinquent, just as a way to get rid of stadiums, because I don't really have many stadiums in this deck, because there isn't space. So we just have Delinquent to get rid of our opponent's stadium, plus making them discard 3 cards is pretty useful. 2 Lysander, just in case we need to Lysander at specific targets. I tend to go with a count of Lysander in my deck, with the 2 count of Lysander in my decks these days. Just gives you that extra insurance for quicker wins. 2 N, Just our standard draw support. 1 Ninja Boy. In certain battles, this has been the MVP of the deck. Being able to just Ninja Boy into Tauros and just hit for stupid amounts of damage is absolutely fantastic. Ninja Boy, Tauros GX is a match made in heaven. 1 Pokemon Center Lady. You wouldn't believe how many times this card has been useful. Because if someone... let's take Lapras GX as the prime example. They decide they need to buy a turn, so they use Ice Beam GX. But you've got Pokemon Center Lady in hand, so you play the Pokemon Center Lady, heal, and it's like your opponent never did anything. So Pokemon Center Lady is the amount of knockouts I've taken on Lapras GXs this week just by using Pokemon Center Lady after they've used Ice Beam GX. It's crazy. So Pokemon Center Lady has also been an MVP of this deck, which is why it's in there. 1 Professor Kukui, this is pretty much a one-off in most people's decks now, I think. It's basically a better version of Giovanni's scheme. Draw 2 cards, and then your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Similar to a card back in the day, which was called Buck's Training. I didn't really play back then. That was kind of on my sabbatical, several years sabbatical from the game, but my brother collected some of the older cards, and Buck's Training was one of those, so... Kukui is on a similar line to that, and it's a pretty good card. 3 Professor Sycamore. Discard your hand, draw 7. Originally started with 4, but didn't have space for 4. 1 Team Flare Grunt. Fits in with the Disruption theme of this deck. And that's it for our supporters. Item cards, I'd say we've got a pretty fairly standard choice of item cards. Obviously, because this is a Hammers deck, we've gone for the 4 Crushing Hammer and the 3 Enhanced Hammer. Just as a way to slow down the opponent, get rid of their energy, complete dominance and board control. That's how I like to play. 3 Nest Ball. This card is amazing. Like, just being able to get your Pokemon out without discarding cards is just brilliant. Obviously, you can't use Nest Ball for Shaman. I haven't made that mistake yet. I say yet because I probably will at some point, but I know that I've seen comments of people online, and I've seen people putting things like Nest Ball for Shaman, I lose, stuff like that. So that's the thing about Nest Ball. You put the Pokemon straight onto your bench, so don't use Nest Ball for Shaman. I haven't done that yet, and I don't intend to either. But you never know. I might slip up at some point. But yeah, Nest Ball, just being able to go to any Pokemon and put it on your bench, any basic Pokemon and put it on your bench is clutch. It's amazing, especially in a deck like this. 1 Special Charge, because other Hammers decks do exist, so any ways we can get our special energy back are very good, so that's why Special Charge finds its place in the deck. 1 Town Map. With my deck having so many crucial pieces, being able to see what my prize cards are is absolutely essential, so that's why Town Map finds its place in the deck. 4 Trainers Mail, gone for a maxed out count because, again, I need specific cards at specific times, so having 4 Trainers Mail just gives me as many outs as possible to the cards I need. 2 Ultra Ball, these are in the deck literally just for Shaman. If it wasn't for the fact that I ran Shaman, I don't think I'd run Ultra Ball at all, but this deck does need Shaman to help set up that little bit quicker, so that's why Ultra Ball finds its way in. And then our final regular item cards for VS Seeker. Everybody runs VS Seeker. Since it doesn't look like we're getting a reprint of VS Seeker anytime soon, I'll be very, very sad to see this card go from the standard format. I love VS Seeker. Okay, anyway, so we have 1 Stadium card, like just 1, in Parallel City. Is mostly in the deck as a counter against Skyfield decks, or just if I need a counter Stadium. So between Parallel City and Delinquent, I can usually keep my opponent's Stadiums at bay. Plus, it's very handy if I've got both Shaman on my bench. I just play Parallel City with the blue side towards myself. Shaman's in the discard. No longer there as easy prize targets. Then I run 2 tool cards in the deck. 4 Fighting Fury Belt, gone with a maxed out count there for my Yveltals. That's the Yveltal EXs. I generally put the Float Stone, which I have here. I've just got 1 copy of Float Stone. I try and put that on the baby Yveltal because of its 2 retreat cost. Failing that, Float Stone goes on to Shaman, but that has a 1 retreat cost. So really, the Float Stone is meant for the baby Yveltal. And that is it for the deck. That is my enhanced Cyclone deck. Like I said, I've really enjoyed playing it this week. It's been good. I've really enjoyed it, so yeah. Okay then. Okay, so now that we've finished our analysis of the deck, let's head over to the versus mode and we'll jump into a game with the deck. So, standard format, enhanced Cyclone, let's go! Let's see who our opponent is going to be in this match. Okay, here we go. So, our opponent is Ondrelms 91. So, we're calling the coin flip, so we're going to go heads. And we lost the coin flip, so looks like my opponent's going to choose whether to go first. Oh, we're going first! Oh, I didn't expect that. And another mulligan, but that's kind of inevitable in this deck with only having 9 basic Pokemon, or 9 Pokemon total in the whole deck. That is to be expected. So we'll just wait while my opponent picks his starting Pokemon. Okay, so let's hope that we can get a basic Pokemon in this hand. Come on, basic Pokemon. Nope, second mulligan. And Shaman. This deck, unfortunately at the moment, is giving me nothing but Shaman starts. I mean, I can put the Float Stone on it, I suppose. I've got the double colourless as well, so I might actually put Fighting Fury Belt double colourless on there just to preserve them and then just play the Professor Sycamore. Professor Sycamore is my favourite card from Steam Siege. Don't have any copies in real life, unfortunately. I really want some. Okay, so we're just waiting for my opponent to take his mulligan draws before we can get going. Yep, there we go. Oh, Talonflame start from my opponent, righty-ho. Okay, so we'll drop the town map down. Flip over the prizes. There's 3 of my 11 energy are prized. The rest I can live with. Right, so we're gonna Fighting Fury Belt, double colourless, and then we're just gonna have to play the Professor Sycamore. I'm not too fond of throwing away that Float Stone, but sometimes you just have to. So, oh my god, why are we drawing into so much stuff we don't need? Right, this Trainer's Mail needs to hit as a nest ball here. Just another Crushing Hammer. Oh, dear lord. What am I supposed to do with this lot? Okay, just have to end the turn because there's nothing else we can do. So what are we going to see from my opponent here? An Ultra Ball. I wouldn't have minded one of those. For a Cyndaquil, it's the Typhlosion deck. Okay, I'm gonna have to get set up quite quickly here, I think. Because I imagine from this Talonflame now, we're gonna see a Rare Candy and a Typhlosion from Aero Blitz. We're really gonna have to keep their energy at bay, but I don't think they're double colourless either, so already the enhanced hammers are useless. In fact, this would be a very, very good time to play N. So, we'll play the Crushing Hammer just to try and get rid of the energy. Tails. Oh, do you know what? I'm not going to play the other one, I'm just going to play N. Okay, so let's hope we get something good. A couple of Nest Ball, Tauros and Yveltal, that'll do. I can work with that. So, we'll bench Yveltal, we'll bench Tauros. Nest Ball. I'm just going to fill up the bench with Yveltal now. Because those are the things that we're going to need. Those are the things we're going to need the most. So we'll grab another one as well. Three Yveltal EX now on the bench. We're going to attach energy here. And then Sky Return. And then there's one space left on the bench for next turn to use Shaman. Well, there'll actually be 2 spaces. Promote the Yveltal because I'm quite confident that won't get knocked out. Oh, we even drew Fighting Fury. Oh yeah, the Fighting Fury was attached for Shaman, of course it was. So I can attach the Fighting Fury Belt and the double colourless to Yveltal next turn, and then we'll be able to shame him for 5, hopefully. 4 at most. Or 4 at the very least. Okay, so we see the evolution to Quilava, so we obviously stopped the rare candy Typhlosion play coming down there, which is good. Just another Aero Blitz from my opponent. I could do with getting another N then. That would be quite useful. Hopefully we should take a knockout on this Talonflame next turn. Okay, so let's Fighting Fury Belt, DCE, because that should do 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yeah, we've easily got the knockout there. So we'll Shaman set up for 4. I've played against this Typhlosion deck before. It's really not that good to play against. It's certainly a bit of a monster. In fact, I know exactly what we're going to do. We're not going to knock out this Talonflame at all. We're going to Lysander the Quilava. We might not have much in the way of supporter cards, but we do have enough to take the knockout. The thing is, this deck has the ability to... I want to just check. What's in the discard? Oh, just a Lysander. Okay, in which case we're just going to take the Crushing Hammer, I think. We should have taken an energy card, but oh well. Never mind. We have just slowed my opponent right down, and we actually do have... Well, we don't have the win next turn now because of the Cyndaquil on the bench. But we'll still be able to take the knockout on the top. Ooh, teammates, that's good. Yeah, I've played against this Typhlosion deck before, and more often than not I am on the receiving end of brutality from the Typhlosion. I don't think I've won against it that much. I mean, the best way to play against the Typhlosion deck is just Lysander up all the Cyndaquils and Quilavas and what have you. Just get rid of those first, because they can't really do anything with the Talonflame apart from get out some cards that they might need. So, yeah. So we see another Cyndaquil down to the bench, so we see an army of Cyndaquil coming down. There's a Fire Energy onto the Cyndaquil. Of course, Enhanced Hammers are useless in this deck. Escape Rope, okay. I think we're going to have to promote Shaman. Oh yeah, no, there was more stuff in the discard. Oh god, we've discarded the Floatstone. Which means Sky Return's the only option. Quite a quick, clever little play from my opponent there. And we see Tackle for 10. Not often we see Tackle. Okay, so... Crushing Hammer. That's ahead, so we'll get rid of the one on the active. DS Seeker. Actually, I wonder if it might be worth using Ninja Boy here to get that Shaman out of the active. Nah, we'll just play Professor Sycamore. Because if I hit the DC, I can pick that up anyway. And of course we didn't hit the double colourless. Right. Not a lot of options here. I will play the Crushing Hammer just to try and get rid of the other energy. That's Tails, so that's not happening. I will play down the Parallel City. I will restrict my opponent to 3 bench Pokemon, I think. I'm just trying to burn cards here so that I can dig for that double colourless. So we'll get rid of Nest Ball and a Dark Energy. Yep, the other Shaman is in here. Just trying to dig now. I mean, technically I could just attach the energy and retreat. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but... that would have been another option. Well, we're going to have to do that if we don't draw DCE here. Yeah, we're attaching and retreating. So we'll retreat to the Yveltal and Evil Ball for the knockout. This time we will take a Dark Energy so that we can start powering up our next Yveltal. opponent promotes Cyndaquil. I'd imagine they probably do have the Rare Candy Typhlosion in there. Yep, Rare Candy Typhlosion, saw that coming. Into the Typhlosion, which does use discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Okay. So my opponent discards a couple of Fire Energy there. Ultra Ball. My opponent's probably going to use this to thin some cards out, maybe take a card out of the deck. Probably even another Cyndaquil, to be honest. Because at the moment my opponent has no backup attacker. Like, at all. See, sometimes it's these little lesser known decks that provide the biggest challenge. I mean, you can have as much set up on your board as you want, but they just find a way to slow you down. Massive Eruption. Uh-oh. Do we live? We live! We live. Right, okay, so how many energies in my opponent's discard? I'd imagine quite a lot. But, yeah, there's 8 energy in there, but my opponent probably runs more than that. Okay, Pokemon Center Lady won't help us, because there's just going to be too much damage on the, I mean, it only has to discard 1 energy, and that's 80 damage, so even if we heal 60, we're still going to get knocked out. My opponent says that was close. Yeah, damn right it was. Okay, so we're just going to attach the energy here. Going to play Trainer's Mail. Both of those cards are actually useless, so I'm going to fail that search. And then I'm just going to play the Team Flaregram, just in case we can buy ourselves another turn. So I'm actually going to use my Cyclone for 100. Preserve the energy. Put the energy on the bench to Yveltal. Because then, next turn, we can always play something that'll try and get us another energy. Let's see another energy for my opponent there, so yeah. Yveltal's, if this is a, yeah, there's a couple of fire energy in there, so I was right, Pokemon Center Lady was never going to help, so. Now, my opponents put themselves in an interesting position. They only have a Talonflame on the bench with no backup Pokemon. I'm going to take a knockout here on the Typhlosion. I should probably try and find some energy, I think. Oh, well, there's a Crushing Hammer. Well, I don't have a Flying Fury Belt. No. No. We need to take the Flying Fury Belt. Always err on the side of caution. So, grab the Flying Fury Belt, put it on the Yveltal. Yeah, this has actually turned into quite an interesting game. Evil Ball, this will take the knockout, and then my opponent is literally just left with a Talonflame. So, I don't know what they think they're going to do with that. Dark Energy DC, Dark Energy DC. Let's take the DCE. Because then if this Yveltal goes down, I'll be inclined to have some fun with Doros anyway. So my opponent draws for turn. Teammates, that's probably going to find something. Couldn't tell you what something is though. One of them needs to be a basic Pokemon because at the moment we've got the win next turn, so. Let's see what my opponent can come up with here. There's 2 fresh cards out the deck. Is one of the... Oh, no, just a concession from my opponent. I think my opponent's seen the writing on the wall and realised that we've just got too much control on the board. So, Typhlosion's actually an interesting matchup. Obviously, it's not something you see that often in competitive play. But when you do come across it online, you really do have to think. But hey, we got the win. We got to discard a couple of things with hammers, so I like to think that was a reasonably interesting game that we looked at there. It's a victory nonetheless, so I'll take that any day. And there's another 15 points on the Versus ladder, only 2 off getting that Latios EX now, which I already have a few. So, yeah. Right then, so that's it for TCG Weekly Episode 7. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button for me. If this is your first time to the channel, please do subscribe. I do TCG Weekly every Wednesday, and then I've got my other series doing it Thursday on a Thursday. I also do my regular semi-regular series Blister Bonanza on the 1st and 15th of every month, so expect the next instalment of Blister Bonanza this coming Saturday. We'll be opening Steam Siege, so you never know, I might get one of those full art sycamores. Anyway, that's it for TCG Weekly this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.